education is very key, especially when you are bringing in new products to the market. And interestingly, those consumers, they are ready to consume if only they understand what they want to consume, and they are also fully aware of the benefits associated with the product they want to consume. And you can't separate education from products. And that is why all products, be it the pharmaceutical product or you want to talk about the automobile product, they all come with a manual, right? The manual is the education, is the sort of orientation that guides the user to how best they can maximize the benefits in the product, right? So in this case, looking at the fact that you said the market has not been scratched at all, not barely scratched, it has not been scratched. We have just 2 takaful operators, just like you mentioned. We have need for re-takaful. We also have need for orientation of the brokers. You said there are barely few numbers of brokers that are available. The agents as well that serve as the intermediary between the customers and also moving back to the takaful operators, they also need to be educated. So there's virtually need for a tripartite approach to training and also providing orientation, public awareness. How do you think all of this can be brought together to see how to really advance the market, thereby providing much needed information and awareness for the customers on one hand, providing capacity development and growth for the agents and brokers, and at the same time, not forgetting the regulators. So what do you think? What's your thought?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate on this one because from our end, my outlook on it is our development in the industry has been a staggered approach. Staggered approach in what sense? That when we started, the main focus was to see how do we convince the regulators that Islamic finance can provide an alternative to financing of development activities. Now, with that, it means more efforts had gone into discussions, lobbying, and convincing the regulators. Alhamdulillah, we're at that stage where the regulators have come on board. They have, for example, approved the takaful guidelines. Now, the next stage where we are going to is the awareness of the overall ecosystem on critically what does takaful do, how can it be utilized to be effective, and so on. Now, we from Center for Islamic Finance Compliance and Advice, we have devised some of the mechanisms, and we have on the pipeline some few things that we think should be done. We have talked about the regulators. For regulators now, we have moved. They've already issued the guidelines, approved and allowed the takaful to operate, but they still need more capacity on how to regulate. Now, the same thing goes as it is already. The banking sector is well regulated, but when it comes to Islamic finance products, they have been oriented from time to time, but so efforts are still ongoing. So when it comes to the regulators, we say capacity building is needed at the level of how do they regulate. That's why even in our presence here, I'm here in Malaysia. I came for conferences in Islamic finance, but I had this opportunity to see how do I meet the giant institutions, infrastructure institutions responsible for governing Islamic finance. For example, yesterday I was at the International Islamic Finance Services Board, IFSB. IFSB, they provide support to regulators categorically on how to regulate and so on. So we can say what needs to be done is forging collaboration with international organizations that can build the capacity of the regulators. On the other side, once the regulators have already approved, they need to approve licensing of operators. Then there have been a question all the times. We do approve operators from which frameworks and guidelines? So here is where, again, awareness comes in, where we need to have certification programs to say, what's the difference between an operator for takaful and an operator for a conventional insurance? So a need here in terms of awareness is actually technical awareness to the operators on what they need to do and what they need not to do when it comes to takaful. At another level is operators as only two organizations. They need to ensure that these services reach out to the communities. We have in between brokers and the agents. There needs to be also certification programs. In this case, again, technical. Because the operators, the brokers and the agents are the face of the service. Once they understand well what is takaful, what is and what is not, it will be easy, because these are the ones who meet the customers when in need and looking for the options. However, we would like not to forget the most important agents of change. These are our masajids, places of worship, because for every community at every street, they trust most the imam, the street imam, on what is considered halal and what is haram. So once these imams understand what is takaful, how does it operate, then it will be easier to reach out to the community and to ensure. So when we talk of public awareness, we look at it this way, that we need to be down at the level of the community. These are the imams. Second level is agents who are selling and clarifying what takaful is all about. The brokers are in between. Then we go to the operators, but without forgetting the regulators.
Interesting.